Okay, wow, there's a lot of you. Becky, thank you so much for having me here. As you heard, like we met 10 days ago in Vegas, and here I am to do story time with you, right? I mean, I can't make that up, right? And story time with 1,000 educators, teachers, and beautiful hearts is really my favorite thing in the world to do. But so what's an African who isn't a teacher and doesn't have any kids writing stories? Well, the thing is that I trained as a therapist and a healer for many years, and what I noticed was that all of the grown-up clients who were coming to see me were working with issues that started before they were 6 years old. And so it made perfect sense to me that if I was going to apply what I learned and my desire to make myself better and the world a better place, that I would work as young as I possibly could. And I think you are already signed up to that mission, if I were to say it that way. So we're going to do story time, and I'm really looking forward to that. The book that we're going to do is The Hug Who Got Stuck. A little bit of context about it. It's one of a collection of 12 stories. All of the stories have the same structure and format. We do a breathing practice that we're all going to get to do together, an activity page in the end. And I'm all about connection. And why connection? Well, because when connection's happening, now I love here that we've got the executive state and the survival state. I'm not sure that anybody's told Becky that we have these little brain people, and they're kind of hanging out inside our head. And when things are going well, then that's what it looks like. There they are, comfortable in the front of the brain. And then a hurtful moment happens, and that's what happens. Right? Everything goes a little bit squirrely. And I got very interested in these hurtful moments. I got interested in the study of trauma for the sake of my own healing. One of the things that nobody ever said to me, and perhaps it was too obvious, is nobody ever said that these hurtful experiences happen while we're awake. When we're asleep, if something hurtful were to happen, we would wake up. So that's what got me interested in what's the role of sleep. Where does sleep integrate our hurtful experiences? And I started to look at this very simple formula. Here I am showing up into the world wanting to be my radiant self, my radiant 4-year-old self, 5-year-old self, whatever age self. And that's really what I'm here on the planet to do. I'm here to be me because nobody else is doing that job. You're the only ones doing you. But then something happens and it's hurtful. And it can be the smallest thing or the biggest thing. It really doesn't matter. But there's this kind of sideways step from me over there, being my full self, to me over here being a little bit anxious about whether or not I'm actually safe enough to be my full self. And I'm starting to get that level of concern in my body-mind system, and I'm getting anxious. And I no longer think that I can be myself in the way that I was. I'm now not good enough. I'm now not safe enough. I'm now not loved. I don't belong in some way. And I'm just going to take a step back. And I'm going to put in over here an adaptive behavior that is defensive. And that defensive behavior is designed purely to keep me from experiencing that original pain that I was experiencing over there. And so when I listened in on this morning's lecture that you were giving, Becky, and talking about how we age, right? And if we catch these developmental negative beliefs at a particular point, and we're able to do the work of repair, which comes through connection, then our children learn this process of regulating. What was it? How many did we need? We need 2, right? And so we have the two, and sometimes the two are inside self, and then sometimes actually it's another human being right there giving the mirroring and the modeling that you know this, you're on the front line, you're doing it all the time. And so the story that we're going to go into will take us into the territory of negative beliefs. And, well, let me read it, and we'll talk about it a little bit after. So please join with me. Breathing in, I breathe for me. I breathe for you. I breathe for us. And I breathe for all that surrounds us. Good. Children, are we ready for a story? Yeah. Once upon a time, on a very ordinary day, deep in the center of a very ordinary heart, an extraordinary thing happened. Deep in the center of this heart was a hug factory. The hug factory made the most warm, cozy, cuddly hugs. Right, let's check this out for a moment here. So we've got the door of the heart just on the right-hand side of the picture, and the hugs come zooming in. They go into that top upper quadrant where they're so filled with love, and the love glows. It gets caught on the solar panels. The solar panels power the big green heart battery right in the middle, and that in turn powers the light. And I don't know if you knew this, but deep in the center of your heart, right at the back, there's this forest of trees where baby hugs are growing. It's true. And you might just be able to see that they're hydroponically drip fed by a basket of stars. There's some rainbow, and then there's a little basket there of warm fuzzy feelings. That's what those are just there, warm fuzzy feelings. And then so when the baby hugs are ready, they get picked and they get taken out the bottom, shoot across the bottom here into this encoding room. We're going to see that in a minute. And they come zooming out the door of the heart. We'll see that sign, and they go out into the world. All of that is happening inside you. Isn't that amazing? So each hug was freshly made and specially encoded with just the right amount of love and care to delight the heart it was made for. Being a hug wasn't always easy. Sometimes a lonely thought or bad feeling would trap a hug in a sticky web. Can you see those words? Can you see those sticky thoughts? Nobody loves me. There's something wrong with me. Who cares? So, to help hugs deliver their love and care, there was a big sign on the factory wall. Reminders to being a great hug. 1, breathe in love and glow brightly. 2, focus entirely on the heart the love is for. And 3, don't pay too much attention to this web of sticky thoughts. Now, on most days, you could see streams of hugs entering and leaving the door of the heart, zooming away like bees from a hive. But not on this day. On this day, there was a problem. Oh no. One special hug on its way out of the heart got stuck. Very, very stuck. This hug had forgotten the third rule. It fought against the web of sticky thoughts to get free, but every wriggle and squirm trapped the hug even more. Soon the hug ran out of breath and lost its glow. Inside, the heart became horribly congested, with crowds of hugs waiting to get out. Unused hugs were put into boxes until every inch of space was filled up. Outside the heart, there was also a problem. A traffic jam of visiting hugs couldn't get in to deliver their special love and care. Soon the factory stopped making new hugs. There was only one stuck hug in the center of one ordinary heart. But all around the world, hugs lost a little of their glow. The hug sighed helplessly. It stopped wriggling, stopped squirming, and stopped fighting. In that moment, something magical happened. As it stopped wriggling, it breathed in love and glowed brighter. As it stopped squirming, it remembered the heart it was made for. As it stopped fighting, it slipped right past the web of sticky thoughts. Free! The hug glowed brighter and brighter, zooming away towards the one special heart it was made for. The hug factory clinked and whirled back to life. A flood of hugs passed in and out of the heart, each delivering their special love and care. It was just one hug who got unstuck in the center of one ordinary heart. And all around the world, an extraordinary softening happened. The end. So let's just check something out here. Here's our hug meter. I don't know if you've heard of Virginia Satir. She was a family therapist before family therapy was even coined as a term. And she says to us, we need 4 hugs a day to survive, 8 to maintain, and 12 to thrive. All right, how you all doing on your hug meter? Okay, so I'd like you to stand up. And I'd like you to check right in with the person next to you and say, is your heart full or would you like a hug? Like we should have entered that in a world record attempt or something. I think that was probably more hugs than I've ever seen in 60 seconds before. So I think you get a little bit of a feel of what I'm about in the world. You know, and just to come back to layer that value around connection again. When I spoke and we had that little setup, here was I being radiant, shiny self. Here was I getting a little bit anxious and scared. And here was I with a behavioral change. The reason why your presence, your connection is enough to heal. And, you know, people say to me, come on, Andrew, there's got to be more to it than this. But it's like, well, actually, your presence and your connection is enough to do the work of repair. Because every moment of pain, those hurtful moments, they're flavored with separation. Sometimes that separation's internal, and sometimes, again, it's in the world. It's like, you know, we got a message we didn't like. You know, I was the overweight kid at school, so I got the fat bully teasing message, you know, and it was a message of separation. And I separated again from myself and who I was. and it takes connection to do the work of repair. You have an amazing opportunity, again, in the modeling of that. You're constantly going through these journeys in the class where things go well, not so well, repaired. Well, not so well, repaired. And that's the healthiest teaching right there, is that modeling that you get to do. Because there may be many families where kids are going home and they're not getting that same work of repair done. I talk my TED Talks about why the last 20 minutes of the day matter. I'd love for you to have a look at that, and we go into more depth about that specific period and the role of sleep in the integration of trauma and behavioral change. And if we can do the repair before sleep, and I give you something that you can do for yourselves. Not even, because this is where we start. We always start. That first breath was, I breathe for me. Because if you're not doing that breath, if that's the only breath of those four you take from here, hoorah, fantastic. I breathe for me, I breathe for me, I breathe for me. Because when I have me, I can meet you without going into survival state. And a very cool little thing that I like to do is I like to sit on my bed just before sleep at night, and I ask myself, what is it I need to wake up into tomorrow? What is it that I want? Because to me, the last 20 minutes of today, it doesn't even belong to today, it belongs to tomorrow. This is one continuity of life. And it's like, wow, okay, so tomorrow, I've got some big meetings, and I would like self-confidence and trust, and actually I'd like some playfulness as well. I don't want to get too serious. So I take those things. Okay, that's for today. Self-confidence, trust, playfulness. I put it on a Post-it. I tuck it under the pillow, right? And I kind of sit there, and it's like, I'm gonna bring this into being. My mind, for 8 hours, whilst I sleep, if it's a good night and I'm not a parent of a toddler, for 8 hours, I will be inviting my little brain people to cultivate that message that I put under the pillow. So you've been asleep on an argument before, right? Yeah, and was it gone by the morning? No, or did you just spend 8 hours arguing with yourself whilst you sleep, or arguing with the person who's sleeping next to you? Yeah, so it's as simple as that. I mean, I don't have any more scientific validation than that. You want to argue with yourself for 8 hours, and you can do that. And if you want to convey a message to your little brain people and have them support you in cultivating what you need for yourself, then do that. I have a little piece of paper which says things to tell you from the stage, and I write this for myself because I forget. It has been an amazing rush of the last 10 days since I met Dr. Becky in Vegas. Usually I would have sort of 1,000 books sitting outside, but we didn't have the time to ship those here to you. So I'm so grateful for the team for putting in the order forms and the brochures that tell you all about my collection. They're all in your form. We are doing a book giveaway. We would love you to come and drop by the stand and fill in a form for that. We're a young business. Now, I have 12 stories, but I'm a young business with a big mission, a big heart to serve and support in a similar way that you are doing in your communities. So I welcome your insights into how I can do that. I come from the therapeutic space. You come from the educational space. There's going to be a meeting point somewhere. There's places where I know I've got it right, and there's places where you're going to be able to give me some feedback and make suggestions. Please do that. It helps us as a community grow the pool of resources so that you have what enables you best to do your job on the front line. And I'm going to take a selfie if that's okay. This is crazy for me, I got to say. I did take a couple of pictures of you hugging, but I'm going to have to break it up into sections. If you want to get crazy, you're welcome to. Hey, okay, that was their version of crazy. Can I see yours, please? Okay, so I'll put that up on Conscious Bedtime Stories, and you can all go and tag yourselves, right, because you're in it. But that'll be super fun. Social media is obviously a great way to help. But the thing that I really want to leave you with here, let me just see if I can find it inside myself before I share it with you. The thing that I want to leave you with is gratitude. I want to say to you, I get the opportunity in this moment to say thank you. Thank you for being custodians of our children. Thank you for being out, living your unique purpose as teachers in your classroom and expressing your love and care and wisdom. I know that the children who are lucky enough to be in your classrooms are going to grow up with the best possibility to be fully themselves and to shine in the world. And for that, I say thank you.